Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I will be reading the chapter 7 of Emperor's Ring. We had to take the Dune Express to get to Haridwar. It left Lucknow in the evening and reached Haridwar at 4:30 in the morning. When Baba had mentioned a possible visit to Haridwar before we left to Calcutta, I had been pleased. Puri was the only holy place I had seen. So the thought of seeing another was quite exciting. But now, after all this disturbance over a stolen ring, I did not feel like leaving Lucknow. Feluda, however, had not lost his enthusiasm. You will see how interesting it is to go from Haridwar to Rishikesh and then to Lakshman Jhula. The river is different in each place. The further north you go, the stronger it gets. In Lakshman Jhula, it gushes with such powerful turbulence that it's practically impossible to have a conversation by its side. Have you been to all these places? Yes, I went to all three after my last visit to Lucknow. Dhiru Kaka himself drove us to the station. Almost as soon as we had moved into our coach with our baggage, Dr. Srivastava turned up. Nice of him to have to come see us off. But no, a porter was carrying his suitcase. We stared at him. I had asked Dhirubabu not to tell. Dr. Srivastava laughed. As the porter put the suitcase down, he knew I wanted to go with you. Gave you a surprise, didn't I? Baba seemed very pleased. Good, he said. I didn't think you'd be able to come away, or I'd have asked you myself. Srivastava dusted one corner of his seat and sat down. To tell you the truth, he said, I have tried not to show it, but I have been upset by the loss of Pyare gift. So I thought getting away from it all might do some good. Bono Bihari Babu arrived within 5 minutes with rather a lot of luggage. He greeted everyone with a smile and said, Stand by now for a spectacular event. Pavitrananda Swami is traveling in this train. His followers are coming to bid him farewell. Witness their devotion. A plump, saffron clad figure arrived a little later, long hair flowing down his shoulders. He was accompanied by dozens of people with garlands in their hands. He got into the first class coach next to ours. A few others crowded the doorway. Presumably, all these were his devotees. There were just 5 minutes left before the train's departure. We had all climbed into our own carriage. Dhiru Kaka was standing on the platform, chatting with Baba through an open window. When one of the men in saffron detached himself from the group and came walking towards Dhiru Kaka, a big smile on his face, his arms outstretched. Dhiru, do you remember me? Dhiru Kaka stared dumbly for a few seconds. Then, with a shout of joy, strode forward and nearly hugged the other man. Ambika, is it really you? Goodness, why are you wearing these clothes? Why? I have been in saffron for 7 years. Dhiru Kaka introduced him. Ambika and I were classmates in school. We last met each other about 15 years ago. The guard blew his whistle. The wheels creaked into motion, and we heard Ambika Babu tell his friend, I went to your house the other day. You weren't in, so I waited for nearly half an hour. Didn't your bearer tell you? We couldn't hear what Dhiru Kaka said in reply, for the train had gathered speed. Amazed, I looked first at Feluda. and then at Baba. Feluda's brows were knitted in a deep frown. Very strange, Baba said. Had you been suspecting that gentleman of having stolen the ring? Asked Bono Bihari Babu. Yes, but obviously that must now be ruled out. But then, who took the ring? Where did it go? The train clanged out of the platform. I stared with unseeing eyes at the minarets on top of the station. They were beautiful, but I was in no mood to admire them. All my thoughts were confused. What was Feluda thinking? Was he feeling a little embarrassed? After all, he had run all the way to the station to trace that Sadhu Baba. But if the man we just saw talking to Dhiru Kaka was perfectly genuine sannyasi, who was that other man with the briefcase? Had he been loitering outside Dhiru Kaka's house the same evening? If so, was it because he knew about the ring, or was there a different reason? And who had thrown that piece of paper at Feluda with "Watch out" written on it? Was Feluda asking himself the same questions? I looked at him again and found him deeply engrossed in reading his blue notebook with the Greek scribbles and occasionally making further notes. Bono Bihari Babu suddenly turned to Srivastava and said, Tell me, doctor, were you the last person to see Pyarelal alive? Dr. Srivastava was in the process of taking out oranges from a bag. Yes, he replied, offering them to everyone. I was certainly by his bedside when he died. So were his widowed sister, his bearer, and another servant. Hmm, Bono Bihari Babu said gravely. Were you informed after he suffered the attack? Yes. Do you treat ailments of the heart as well? There is no reason why an osteopath cannot look at heart patient, if need be. Besides, his own doctor, Dr. Graham, was out of town that day, so they called me. Who did? His bearer. Bearer? Bono Bihari Babu's eyebrows raised. Yes, Preetham Singh. He's been with the family for years. A very sensible and trustworthy man. Bono Bihari Babu took the pipe out of his mouth and popped a piece of orange into it. You told us Pyarelal gave you the ring after his first attack. When he had his second, you were called, but he died. Yes, that's right. Was anyone else present in the room when you were given the ring? How could that be, Bono Bihari Babu? One doesn't give away precious and valuable things in front of an audience. Besides, you know what kind of a man Parallel was. He would never have wanted to publicize a noble deed. Do you know how many charities he supported secretly? He donated very heavily to hospitals and orphanages. Yet, it was never reported in the press. He wouldn't allow it. Hmm. Srivastava stared at Bono Bihari Babu. Do you have reservations about what I have just said? He asked. The thing is, you see, said Bono Bihari Babu, I do think it would have been sensible if you had got someone to witness the event. Such a valuable object changed hands, and yet no one can testify. Srivastava was still staring, speechless. Then he burst out laughing. Tremendous! He exclaimed. This really takes the cake. What you're implying is that I stole the ring from Pyalelal, then I gave it to Dhiru Babu, and then I went along and stole it back. Wonderful. The expression on Bono Bihari's Babu's face did not change. You acted sensibly, he said coolly. I would have done the same. You took the ring over to Dhiru Babu to keep it safe from the burglar who had broken into your house. Then you took it back and thought the burglars wouldn't attack your house again. Tell me, Felu Babu, I'm not bad at detection, am I? Feluda shut his notebook and began peeling an orange. Surely, he asked. There are plenty of witnesses to testify that Dr. Srivastava did indeed save Mahabir's life. Yes, there probably are, Bono Bihari Babu had to admit. In that case, it is my belief that no matter how valuable the ring was, its value could not have been more than that of a child's life. If Dr. Srivastava did steal that ring, he is certainly an offender. But those who are now after it are real criminals and dangerous ones at that. I see, Bono Bihari Babu said gravely. You don't believe that Srivastava still got the ring, do you? No, I don't, because I have evidence to the contrary. Everyone in the coach was silent. I stared at Feluda. Bono Bihari Babu was the first to speak. May I ask what evidence it is? Yes, you certainly may, but you won't get an answer, for the right time to discuss it hasn't yet come. I had never heard Feluda speak with such authority. Bono Bihari Babu spoke again, with a hint of sarcasm in his voice. Let's hope I live to see that day. It shouldn't take that long, Feluda said. There's only the matter of the spy to be cleared up. Spy? Asked Bono Bihari Babu, surprised. What spy? Dr. Srivastava spoke this time. I think Felu Babu is referring to Pyarilal's last words. Just before he died, he did say the word spy. In fact, he said it twice. Bono Bihari Babu's frown went deeper. Strange. A spy in Lucknow? Then, pipe in hand, he stared at the floor. Yes, it could be. I did suspect, he muttered. What? No, never mind. I may be wrong. Clearly, he did not wish to talk about it. In any case, we had reached Hardoi, so our conversation came to halt. A cup of tea might be a good idea, said Feluda, and went down onto the platform. I joined him, for I couldn't see the point in sitting inside a train when it was standing at a station. Just as I climbed down from our coach, another man in saffron clothes turned up from somewhere and got in. This is reserved, said Bono Bihari Babu quickly. There is no room. Please, sir, pleaded the man. Allow me to travel up to Bareilly. Then I'll go elsewhere. I won't disturb you at night. Rather reluctantly, Bono Bihari Babu made room for him to sit. These sannyasis will drive me mad, said Feluda, waving at the chaiwala. The man with the tea came running. Would you like some? Yes, why not? Feluda asked the others, but they all declined. I was soon handed an earthen pot filled with hot, steaming tea. I shifted it from one hand to the other, waiting for it to cool, and said, If Dr. Srivastava turned out to be thief, I shall be very upset. Why? Feluda asked, casually sipping the hot tea. Because I like him. He seems such a nice man. You are a fathead. Haven't you read detective stories? The person who appears to be the least suspicious always turns out to be the culprit. But this is not a story. So what? Don't writers base their stories on what they see in real life? This annoyed me very much. In that case, I asked, when Dr. Srivastava came to our house with the ring, who was watching him from the gate and smoking a charminar? That might have been the burglar or his accomplice. You mean to say Srivastava is the criminal and so are the burglars, which would make everyone a villain because Ganesh Guha said Bono Bihari Babu wasn't simple either. Feluda took another sip. But before he could reply, another screwed up piece of paper came flying, hit him on the forehead, and fell into his earthen pot. Feluda retrieved it instantly, scanned it, and glanced at the crowd on the platform. Then we heard the guard's whistle. There was no time now to look for the person who threw it. Before getting back to our compartment, Feluda looked once more at what was written on the paper and showed it to me before screwing it up again and throwing it away on the track. It said, "Watch out." And the words were written with the same red juice of pan. The thrilling and mysterious affair of the Emperor's ring had not been left behind in Lucknow at all. It was traveling with us. And that is the end of the chapter 7. Thank you for listening. If you have enjoyed it, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. See you all in the next video.